Lawmakers are gearing up to showcase why a couple of projects in Maple Grove need state bonding dollars. On Friday, members of the Minnesota House Capital Investment Committee stopped by the intersection of Highway 610 and I-94. Maple Grove is requesting $15 million to extend 610 to County Road 30.
The real importance of this project is to preserve the ability of the Maple Grove Parkway interchange to continue to operate effectively, as opposed to being overloaded and then congestion occurring at that location.
Lawmakers also toured the North Metro Gun Range. City officials are asking for $6.5 million to double that space. 19 law enforcement agencies currently use the facility for training.
Right now we don't have the capacity to serve our current customers, and we've had to turn away other customer organizations. So we're looking for that additional capacity as well as bringing in modern technology.
The legislature did not pass a bonding bill last session. City officials are hopeful it will pass one this upcoming session. In Brooklyn Park, extensive renovations will soon begin on 2 apartment buildings that serve a need for low-income housing. One of those buildings is the 110-unit Brooks Landing Apartments. It serves seniors and people with disabilities. Rehab work will include window, kitchen, and security improvements. Another place that will see improvements is the renovated Brook Gardens apartments and townhomes. Several financing tools are making those projects possible, and that includes a loan from the city. Maple Grove is known for med tech, and it could also be known for something else. As Corey Bork reports in this week's Business Matters, Fortune 500 companies around the country call on a business in Maple Grove for something that's truly one of a kind.
The company's done some really big projects with some really big high-profile customers across the country nationwide.
Tucked away in an industrial area of Maple Grove, you'll find an operation where large companies come calling. CCX News got a tour of Nevers Industries, which makes custom tables for corporate boardrooms across the country.
Sometimes it's just kind of back of the napkin type stuff, and we make that kind of dream into a reality, if you will.
CEO Chris Evanstead took over the business from his uncle Gerald, who passed away in 2015.
He was a great woodworker.
Gerald Evanstead launched the business out of a garage back in the 70s.
It was important for me to keep his legacy alive.
The business started out making presentation cabinets, then tables out of oak.
The name Nevers comes from a region in France, which is pronounced Navarre.
Today, Nevers makes tables out of a variety of materials. Walnut and cherry, the most popular for wood, to tables using natural stone, thanks to a partnership with another Minnesota family-owned company, Cambria.
And these are some of the newer tables here at Nevers. This one, there's no need for a whiteboard. This table's a whiteboard.
About 85 to 90% of what Nevers does is custom made. Other companies have taken notice.
Locally, there's a lot of Fortune 500 companies.
Companies like 3M, Medtronic, and the Mayo Clinic have purchased from Nevers, as well as government buildings like the Pentagon, and pro sports teams too, including the Minnesota Vikings. Hundreds of tables are shipped out every year. Evanstead credits the company's nearly 24 woodworkers.
They're artisans, they're craftsmen. They're not just, button pusher type people in a factory. There's a lot of handwork in what we do, but there's a lot of care in what we do as well, because they know that their reputation's on the line as well. So we're very fortunate to have.
The average tenure of woodworkers here is 17 years. Eric Julesef has been here longer than that.
You can see the final product where you feel like you've accomplished something, and it looks good when it leaves, and so it gives you pride on what you do.
All have an eye for detail.
You're a perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
They help keep a legacy alive, but also put the focus on the future.
There's a lot of areas for us to grow.
For Business Matters, Corey Bork, CCX News.
The company is eyeing new growth opportunities, including possibly expanding its product line into the Middle East. People gathered at the state capitol over the weekend to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Minnesota's ratification of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. The marching band from one of our local high schools got a front row seat. A celebration inside the state capitol brought together historians, lawmakers, and people committing to remembering the fight for a woman's right to vote. But outside, like the suffrage rallies from long ago, music rallied the crowd.
This is a really cool experience for the band. We get to represent the Robbinsdale district.
It's crazy that we're the only high school band that is here and that we do get this opportunity to play in front of everyone.
The Marching Hawks have been practicing to commemorate Minnesota's ratification of the 19th Amendment since August.
This music was so important in the suffrage movement. It inspired people, it got people into the streets, and you're going to do the same this afternoon. So Robbinsdale Cooper Band, you rock! Let's hear it!
And if the songs don't sound familiar, there's a reason why.
There isn't much music out there that's in print, and by much I mean there isn't any music that's in print anymore.
So the band directors got to work, digging up old music.
I just spent an afternoon, as well as Mr. Gaisford, the assistant director here, arranging music so that we could put it in front of the students. Because again, we found it in the Library of Congress. It's historical music that outside of 1910 to 1919 didn't really get much play.
But it did on a gray Sunday afternoon with Cooper High School's special tribute.
It's very nerve-wracking, but also very exciting and fun at the same time.
I think it's really cool getting to see everyone that's here and standing up for women.
And now an update on a story we brought you back in July. We told you about a Brooklyn Park police officer named Jennifer Foster and her quest to win some money for Crestview Elementary. Officer Foster submitted a video for a contest and it won 5th place, and that earned the elementary school $1,000.
Soft spot for this school. It's a great school. The staff is amazing. And I just wanted them to have a little bit of extra money to be able to do events or whatever they needed for the kids.
The school says it might use the money to resolve lunch debt for students, or it might use it to pay for transportation for an upcoming field trip.
The Wayzata Trojans had an impressive opening night showing in football, shutting out Blaine. They look to build on that win as they played host to Coach Darren Lamker and the Edina Hornets in Week 2. Opening drive of the game for Wayzata, Christian Vassar powers in for a 10-yard touchdown run, and the Trojans take an early 7-0 lead. Next time they get the ball, they go to the air. Thomas Schmidt hits Jacob Wildermuth, and he goes the distance. It's a 62-yard scoring play, and Wayzata leads 14-0. The Trojans' defense was solid again, especially pressuring the quarterback. Loshaka Rokes with the sack there on George Sandvin. Trojans get one more offensive possession in the first quarter. Schmidt to Wildermuth again. 9 catches, 149 yards receiving for him, and 2 scores. 21-0 after one, 21-7 at halftime. Second half, and Rokes and Joe Demrow combine on another sack of Sandvin. He is sacked 7 times in the games. The Trojans stay in control. Fourth quarter, Schmidt with a pass to Luke Bodine. He gets into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown. Wayzata wins 34-15 to improve to 2-0. After the game, quarterback Schmidt talked about his offensive line.
You know, it starts with the O-line up front. You can have a good run game, but if you don't have an O-line, you don't have a run game. And the guys up front, I got to be buying them dinner tonight or something. I haven't gotten sacked in either games, and I mean, I credit all the touchdowns, all the stats. They're all to them. They're all them.
Champlin Park is also looking for good things this fall. After beating Eastridge in Game 1, the Rebels hosted rival Blaine in Week 2. An 89-yard drive to start the game for the Rebels, finished off by a 1-yard touchdown run by Sean Shipman, and it's 7-0 Champlin Park. But Blaine strikes back. Tyler Schuster airs the pass out to a wide-open Julius Reynolds. And this play covers 72 yards. It's a touchdown, and the Bengals tie it up. They go ahead 10-7 after a quarter. Second quarter, Rebels quarterback Jace Miller rolls right and then throws back to Dom Witt for the touchdown pass. That's 14-10 Champlin Park. The Rebels ran the ball really well this night. Shipman rushed for 220 yards. Miller here sprints for 41 yards, bringing it all the way down to the Blaine 15-yard line. He rushed for 122 yards on the night. This one set up another Miller to Witt touchdown pass to make it 21-10 Champlin Park at halftime. Shipman won 39 rushes in the game, this one for 8 yards and a score in the third quarter. Champlin Park wins 28-17, 443 yards in offense in all for Champlin Park. Both Maple Grove and Totino-Grace suffered rare losing seasons in football in 2018. The Crimson and Eagles reach 0-1 this season, coming into their Week 2 matchup on Friday. First play from scrimmage, Nate Elms completes the long pass to Nathan Ross. Crimson cap off this drive with a field goal for an early lead. The Eagles answer in the second quarter. Christoph Kolakowski airs it out. Sam Quick with a great catch. It's a touchdown, and Grace leads it 7-3. At halftime, an anniversary celebration for the 2004 and 2009 Totino-Grace State Championship football teams. Fourth quarter, still 7-3. Spencer Weary now at quarterback for Maple Grove, and he goes 80 yards on this run for a touchdown, and the Crimson go up 10-7. But Grace gets the winning score. Kolakowski completes the pass to Isaac Richards on the sideline. He gets loose for an 89-yard touchdown, and the Eagles win it over the Crimson 13-10, the final. Several local teams were part of the biggest and best early season volleyball tournament in Minnesota. Wayzata advanced to the championship match at the Southwest Minnesota Challenge in Marshall, but lost to Northfield in the final in 2 sets. The Trojans had won their first 4 matches in the event and are now 9-1 in the season. Champlin Park went 3-2 in the tournament. They lost in the 5th place match to Minneapolis.